everybody, welcome to another episode of me showing you 5 comics from the Allen Class archives. Now today, because his mum has gone up early and I'm left alone, I didn't want my little pooch left in the house. You can see we're joined by Frank. So he's a good doggy. Hopefully he's not going to let out the occasional bark or whatever while I'm doing this. But he's my best pal. So I'm going to try and do this without too much fuss. Okay, let's see what we have here. I'm going to kick off with Outer Space number 4, the fantastic Steve Ditko cover. One that I've had a little while and really needs to come out of this horrible polythene. As you can see, it's starting to degrade. Isn't it, Frank? Look at that. It's starting to degrade, isn't it? Not good. You're not even looking at it, are you? Paying no attention at all. Ah, that's a fantastic cover by Ditko. Look at that. So I'm going to have to just move my coffee just a little bit so I can actually see what I'm showing as well. There we go. Can't show you the back, can't show you the insides, but I know that this is going to be a good one. Outer Space number 4, pre-decimal. That's it. You make yourself comfy, Frank, that's it. You turn your back on the viewers. Yeah? How rude. That's great. I'm just fixating on that cover far too much. It's thing I've noticed with the difference between Ditko's artwork and Kirby's artwork is that Kirby has always dealt with perspective changes to make the image move towards you or move away or give you some sort of like 3D depth on a standard 2D page. Whereas Steve Ditko, fantastic artist, but he tended to show his artwork and buildings and machines in particular. I found, I'm sure I'll be proved completely wrong, but he tended to do it in like a very flat, one-dimensional perspective. And yes, I know the early Doctor Stranges with all the fantastic multi-dimensional. That's lovely, beautiful, but it's still on sort of like one plane. Anyway, I love both artists, of course. They just have two different styles, and they're both fantastic. Love the Ditko artwork. Moving on to a couple of months later, Outer Space number 6. This one is a little bit ragged, but artwork still very nice. The Underdog, the Mercury Man, and the Human Element. So just take it out of the light a little bit. Awesome cover, but as I say, it's a little bit on the ragged side. It's got this lovely spillage on the back. I wonder if that's a coffee spillage. The smell is probably long gone. Yeah, just smells of lovely musty old paper now. Just have a quick sip. Lovely. Inside we have, you see, now this is going to be can't open it too much, it is falling to bits. There we go, that's got to be from a Charlton because of the no particular detail, as Mark pointed out to me, I think was it just last week, that they were the lowest page rate payers in the industry. So artists didn't really have much inclination, I should imagine, to fill their art with detail, which is absolutely evident there. But it's all good, isn't it? It's all good. Just not for the artists who weren't paid that much. Anything here that really strikes me, apart from awesome science fiction stories, Well, the title is called Outer Space after all, isn't it? Certainly would keep me occupied though. Detail is everything. Introducing the Mercury Man. Lovely, going to put it down, otherwise I'm going to start reading it. Moving on to, this is one of the later ones from the Lady Seller that I bought a lot of comics from. This is the second series of Out of This World. This is the first issue of the second series. Lovely condition. Awesome. A little bit of dust on it. Right. Let me have a little look at the back. Moving to the front. Wonderful. Great artwork. What would you guys and gals rather do? Would you like to read a story where it had awesome artwork and a not very good storyline? Or an awesome story and very bad artwork? How does it work for you? What do you like in a comic book? I mean, the ideal situation is great artwork and a great story, but sometimes you don't get that. What do you like? What do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. Personally, I can get away with a... If I had a choice, I mean, you know, I prefer great story, great art. But if I had a choice, my preference would be great artwork and a lesser story. But it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because obviously what you want to read, you want it to be intelligent, you want it to get your emotions, you want everything, don't you? You want a film in a comic book, basically. And if you have a lesser story, then it's not going to hold your attention, even though you might be enthralled by the artwork. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Yeah, just lovely super 1950s science fiction stories. Out of This World, #1. Now I think, yeah, just gently look over. I'll save that one till last and bring out this one. It's that cover again. When I say again, I've seen this several times in my collection, but you don't see it appear that often in the marketplace. Inscribed by a former owner who I'm sure had an interest in going into the comics art world, as he's really skillfully, initials being RW, he's skillfully overlaid the R on top of the W. That's great, love that. A little bit of thought gone into it, even though it's just graffiti. So, what have we got here? On the surface of the moon, an amazing story unfolds. It's Last of the Tree People. That strange tree, it's calling to us. Yeah, spooky stuff. I can tell you some spooky stories, honestly. Which I might do at the end of showing you this, actually. Great artwork. Super detailed. Oh, come on, don't fail me now. Look, I mean, Christ on a bike. Look at the detail that's gone into those 2 pages. Absolutely beautiful. Let's see. All great stories. This is a great comic book. Love the Ogden Whitney art. Beautiful. The inside is ever so slightly, don't know that I can show you on the camera, but slightly mashed. There's lots of folds and there's a little bit torn out on the corner there, but I wouldn't have paid any more than £3 for this book anyway. What a great book though. Right, spooky stuff. When I was 17, I lived a couple of miles away on a straight road from my girlfriend's at the time, and 17-year-olds and all that. I left her house on my trusty bike around about 2 a.m. One lovely October morning, actually, nice and frosty. So long straight road to get from her house or her mum and dad's house to my mum's house. Biking along, the visibility was totally clear, 2-mile stretch of road. So I'm coming within about half a mile of where I lived, and I could see something in the distance crossing the road. Couldn't quite make it out. I got nearer and nearer, and it's moving ever so slowly, and I was a fast biker. It was scary. It was... see, I live in an ancient town, very, very old. It goes way, way back. But what I saw crossing the road was a man in a cloak, a hooded black cloak, but you couldn't see his legs, and he was just like moving, gliding is a better word for it, across the road, really slowly. So I got closer and closer, probably around about 30-40 feet, and then it became apparent it wasn't a trick of the light. It was a definite shape of a man gliding across the road from left to right, crossing the road. Scary as hell. I'm 17. This is what silly time, silly o'clock in the morning. So bear in mind, my mum's house was only half a mile away from where I was at that point. I turned the bike around and I biked right down that 1.5 mile stretch, right through the town, right on the back axis of the town, and from there it would have been another 4 miles back to my mum's house. But there's no way I was gonna cross that apparition, and as God is my witness, that's an absolutely true story. It wasn't a trick of the light. It was a definite shape of a man in a black, wearing black, and this is I mean, there are street lights, but this was just gone 2 a.m. in the morning, totally in black with a hood up, just crossing. And I found out several years later that that particular stretch, that they had an almshouse attached to a church a bit further up. So, make of that what you will. But scary. It was scary. Anyhow, moving on, just like give you my little scary story of what happened to me. Moving on, I picked this up last week, and I don't think I've got another comic in this genre, but I picked up Tales of Action number 2, which is terrific. I don't think many issues came out of this series. I think this is possibly the last one, number 2. That's great. Love it. Pretty good condition. Mostly. Spine's intact-ish. No real bend to it. There's a few little chunks missing. But the cover's got its luster. Nothing torn out from the front. And it was relatively inexpensive. Marvellous. And that's great art. Superb. So, I'll have to try and pick up Tales of Action number 1 at some point, if I can. So, thus brings a conclusion to today's 5-comic, action-packed, creepy outer space episode for you. Little Frank's well settled. He's gone to sleep on my lap, which is always a nice thing. Fast asleep with his head on the arm of the chair. Now I've just woken you up, haven't I, Frank? Turning around, get a bit more comfy. You're going to get down. Plonk. Right, thank you everybody for watching me babble on about Alan Class comics. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I have got hundreds more to show you, and apart from the odd intermittent non-Alan Class showing, something that I might stumble across in the future, this is what I'll be doing and what I have been doing for quite a while now. This is what I will be doing every week. So if you've not heard of Alan Class comics, it's something to dip your toes into the water. They're relatively inexpensive to collect. There are some big high number issues, unfortunately, but hard to find if you're collecting the entire series, of which I am. But yeah, great comics to get into if you're not familiar with the Alan Class publishing company. Not much else to say really, so I'm going to sign off, drink my coffee. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week going forward, and I hope the previous week hasn't been too bad for you. Now we're gently launching into fall, autumn. Things are going to get colder and things are going to get darker quicker. So my opportunity for making videos, that window might get smaller, but I will do my very best to bring you a video which I hope is entertaining every week, depending on my mood. Anyhow, bye. I'm out of here.